Hi, welcome to our podcast, Just One More Page.
Where it's never just one more page.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Just One Page. My name is Sam.
I'm Morgan.
And last week we meant to make a comment about this, but Morgan was so hyped up about the book haul she was about to do, which, how many books did you buy?
I was given 2, so 26?
So 26 books from her birthday book haul. But July is Disability Pride Month. Although life has kind of dealt them some pretty bad cards, make the best of every situation. So you should be proud of who you are and all the things you can do. And we have a lot of respect for you guys because it takes a lot of strength to work through abilities or things that you don't have that the rest of the world doesn't really accommodate for. So a lot of respect for that community for sure. I used to work with a lot of it's mostly disabled elderly individuals, but I work with a lot of disabled adults, and it takes a certain kind of strength to keep pushing through a world that doesn't really help you very much. So yeah, all the respect in the world for you guys, for sure. But hey, anyway, how was your birthday week, Morgan? How did it go?
Oh, it was okay. It wasn't what I originally planned. So I originally planned to go hang out with my coworkers. They were going to surprise me, but one of my coworkers got COVID, so that didn't happen. But I still had a fun time. I got my nails done. I went out to dinner, had a little bit too much to drink, but that's okay because it's my birthday. And then I also went and bought a ton of books. I also love when I went to go check out. This guy was like, wow, maybe you need to work at Barnes & Noble. I was like, don't tempt me. Sir, don't tempt me. I should, but I shouldn't, because I would spend a ton of money, like a lot of money.
Yeah, because they get a discount.
I wonder how much of a discount they get.
It wouldn't matter. If it was 10%, I'd be like, done.
Yeah, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, you know what I need to do? I need to find a boyfriend that works at Barnes & Noble.
There you go.
That's what I need. I need to find a boyfriend that works in Barnes & Noble.
Well, isn't there like a cashier you kind of have a crush on there?
He doesn't work there anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, because I haven't seen him forever, but he also acted like he hated his job whenever I was there. So I'm pretty sure he just did not want to be there. One of the books, though, that I was supposed to buy, but I felt really embarrassed to buy, is a book that we're going to be talking about today, which is Twilight.
Oh, dun dun dun. Listen, I was at Books A Million. I picked the book up and went, I'll buy the ebook and set it back down. Oh, I couldn't bring that shame upon my family.
I went to go buy it, and then I was like, you know what if I don't enjoy it? And do I really want it to take up space on my bookshelf? And so then I just put it back. And also in my mind, I was like, I want to get the hardcover version. Are you a huge fan of paperback?
Actually, I'd prefer paperbacks over hardbacks more often than not.
I destroy my paperbacks. I have no self-control, Sam. I will fall asleep with them. I will fold the pages over. Horrible. But I didn't get Twilight. I was a little bit like, I don't know if I should actually buy this. This basically took us down our childhood, because when the book first came out, it came out in 2005. You were 14 years old, Sam, and I was 15 years old.
That is crazy to think about, because that would put so that was what? How many years ago? Math?
I'm 32 right now, so that was about 17 years ago.
Oh my God. We've had a whole generation between when the books came out and today.
We're so old.
I know. Oh my God. Let's not admit that. You know, working with the elderly makes me feel young, because they're like, oh, you're just a spring chicken. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, I am. Thank you.
I feel like the older I get, the more sure of myself and the more confident I am. So I love getting older. But also on top of that, going back and reading these books made me feel super young again.
We've reread Daughters of the Moon, so that put us back in about, 7th grade. And now we're reading Twilight, and that puts us about 9th grade, I believe. I think what it's showing me, too, is how much our reading styles have matured. Because I read this book when we were really, really young, and our minds weren't that mature, so, this book was definitely geared toward our reading levels at that point, our maturity level. And I loved this book, and now as an adult, I'm like, what was I doing? Why did I like this so much? I guess we haven't learned our lesson on not going back and hitting up the nostalgia points. Just leave nostalgia to nostalgia and let it go.
Just let it die. Seriously. Can you guess how many copies of Twilight were sold around the world? And how many languages?
All time or like when it was released?
Oh, I think all time.
All time, I'd say like 2 million copies, 2.5 million copies, and at least 25 languages.
So Twilight sold over 100 million copies of the book in 57 languages around the world.
Oh shit, I was way off.
So if you don't know what Twilight is, where have you been? You're missing this masterpiece. Come on. But if you're curious, if you want a little bit of recap, this follows a 17-year-old Bella Swan who just left sunny Arizona to live with her father in Forks, Washington. There she meets Edward Cullen, a sparkly boy who hangs out with his other sparkly siblings. And at first it seems like Edward hates her, but it's only because he's a vampire and he wants her blood. Dun dun dun. And he also just like loves her. Also think it's safe to say that we're not going to be including anything that's spoiler free. This book came out 17 years ago, and I feel like if you're listening to this, you probably like Twilight or you are interested in it, so you know what it is. So I think we're just going to go straight into like spoilers and just talk about our feelings and everything because it's been out for a while.
So anyway, and even if you watch the movies, like at least you kind of know the base of the plot line. So first thoughts on rereading this book, Morgan. What'd you think?
Reading this book as an adult now did feel different. It was kind of difficult for me to read, and maybe it's because I had 26 other new books that I've been wanting to read on my bookshelf, and I'm like, I just want to read you. I don't know, it was really difficult to kind of get into. Then again, this book is marketed towards young teenagers, and I'm reading this book as a full-grown adult, which makes it kind of different in some ways. Although I throw away my earlier thoughts of Twilight, of it being bad and cringy and like all the stuff that media has said about Twilight, I kind of gave it a fair chance, and I do enjoy it for what it was. Like, do I think it's a fantastic art of literature? No. Do I think it's kind of toxic? Yes. But did I enjoy it for what it was? Yeah.
I'm not much of a book rereader, so this is actually the third time I've read Twilight. So I read it once in high school. I read it again sometime in my early 20s. I still really liked it then, and now in my 30s, I just like, I don't know, there was a level of familiarity with it because I already knew the story and I already knew kind of what was going to happen. I can't believe how many different lines I had like unconsciously memorized because it was like, oh, so the lion fell in love with the lamb, and what a stupid lamb, what a masochistic lion. Like those kinds of lines that like they even made it into the movies and stuff. They're just forever burned in my brain. So there was like a level of familiarity. It was kind of like watching a movie you've watched multiple times. You still like it and you're still enjoying it, but you already know what's going to happen next, so you're just kind of waiting for it to happen. And I think because I had such an anticipation for what was about to happen next, it kind of like lowered my enjoyment of it a little bit. Because if I had forgotten more, I think I would have at least let myself kind of go back into the nostalgia. But because I remembered so much of this book, it was just kind of like, yeah, that happened. I also didn't realize too how much of a pick-me girl Bella was.
Oh my gosh, she is. She's like, I'm not like other girls out there.
Okay, let me put this out there before I make this comment. I love Jane Austen. I love her stories. I've read most of her stories. I really do. But it was just the like, well, I picked up my large like collection of Jane Austen novels, and I had already read Pride and Prejudice, so I decided to go to Sense and Sensibility. And I see what Stephanie was trying to do because she was trying to like relate her higher academic reading to how like, I don't know why, but Jane uses a lot of like ed names like Edmund and Edward and whatever. And so I think she was just trying to make like a connection with that of like Edward is everywhere. But I was just like, ugh. Like I remember being like this in high school, being like, I read all of the classics, and I'm just like, ugh, why was I like this? I needed to stop.
I was like, I read all the classics: Daughter of the Moon, Harry Potter, Twilight. Yeah. I also felt like it was really weird that Bella like knew everything, like in school, where she's like, I read all these books, I know all the like assigned reading, and then like she was in like I think biology and she knew the lab already. Listen, I like smart ass characters. I feel like
it was the contempt in how she was saying it. That's what bothered me. It was like, I'm better than these people. Listen, nobody was making you go to this high school. You did this on your own.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody forcing you out of your mom's house to go travel off with her semi-pro husband. Nobody made you come here. This was all you. So you being grumpy the whole time about your situation, you did it to yourself, girl.
I don't think you also realize this, though, too, about the book, is the toxic/abusive behavior in the book.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was like, girl, all the red flags.
Did you feel this way when you were a teenager, or no?
As a teenager, I don't really know red flags, or you didn't really know red flags. You didn't know what you were looking for. You didn't know the signs of like an overly possessive significant other until you either A, are like it's pointed out to you, or B, you go through it yourself. But I'm sitting there like reading the dialogue between Bella and Edward, and I'm just like, girl, you should have ran when he told you to run.
I just felt like it was just really toxic. Like, okay, Bella, this is before New Moon, before literally Bella would try to hurt herself to be able to see Edward. When she was, I think it was when she was in the forest with Edward, and she was talking about how she didn't want him to leave her side, and then she thinks like, well, if I put myself in danger, you'll like protect me, and so you have to stay by my side. And as a kid, I was like, oh, that's so romantic. But now thinking about it now, I was like, what? Excuse me?
The relationship bordered on obsession with each other.
Yeah. And like Edward going into her house, watching her sleep, and being in her house before. Listen, if anyone's a vampire and they're going to stalk me, do not stalk me in my sleep, because I am a monster if you wake me up. But like he used to watch her, and then like he knew like the music that she kept in her CD, and also like the music. I like classical music, and this like no teenage girl thinks that way. If anything, a teenage girl in like 2005 would be like,
I like Panic at the Disco. And
yeah, Fall Out Boy. Like, no, we were never like that, I don't think. I also do want to say that I do wish there was a little bit more buildup in the love story department. Like, I kind of felt like Edward and Bella just fell in love super fast and were super obsessed with each other. I wish that there was more of a buildup to their love, more of a friendship that turned into a love story, but it just kind of felt like they were straight up into obsession with each other.
As teenagers do, that happens. But like Edward at the time of the book came out should be well over over 100 plus years old. Like, dude, you should have matured by now. This is not okay. This is you a predator. not even like in the vampire sense, just like in the normal sense. You're a predator.
I'm sorry, but I was laughing in the part where they're at the woods and he's like, I'm faster than you. I can do that. And I'm like laughing because I've seen so many TikTok videos in which people are in the forest or making fun of that scene. And I just kept viewing that and it made me laugh really hard. Another thing, though, I do want to talk about is why is she always cooking for Charlie and taking care of him?
Yeah, I mean, she basically like said that like Charlie doesn't really cook and there was no food in his house. Like he had a bachelor pad kind of thing. He just didn't really take care of himself and everything. But so I mean, she was like, well, I'll take the responsibility of feeding myself. But if I did that, like it would more be along the lines of like, I want a home cooked meal. You can eat too if you want to, versus like this need to take care of my father after he's successfully lived on his own for X number of years without me. Like there'd be no reason.
I don't know. I felt like there was multiple scenes in which she's just cooking for Charlie. I'm like, maybe you should add some more romance into this. I don't know. But also, I didn't like the writing.
It was definitely odd. Again, our reading styles have matured over time. It could be we're just noticing it now versus when like the book first came out.
I just felt like the writing seemed a little bit more having just it dragged on a lot.
She told us too much. So it was like there was a scene in her bedroom where she was like, I woke up and my CD player fell on the floor, so I got up and made sure that I put my CD player in the middle of the bed, and then I went and did this, and then I went and did that, and then I went and did this, and then I went and did that. Like it was just like it almost felt like a grocery list. This is in order everything that I did, instead of being like, while crawling out of bed, I placed my CD player in the middle of the bed and went to do this, and just like kept flowing it. It was very like cut and dry. I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. And then I thought this, so I did this. And it's like, it was way too bump, 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 bump. And I like more show versus tell kind of thing.
It definitely read like a Quizilla story.
It really did, honestly. I think this was her debut novel. So it definitely reads like an author's first book.
And, like, listen, I don't want to hate on Twilight. You know, I did enjoy it. It is a guilty pleasure. I do feel like there is some red flags to it. I do feel like Twilight got unnecessary hate when it first came out.
It was like, it was cool to hate on it.
It became a meme. Like everyone hated on it with a passion. There was SNL skits. Like there was like a teenager spoof movie that was in. It was often being mocked online. And like if you were going to Twilight, people would be like, oh, like you're so weird. Like they would make fun of you for it. But the truth is, although the book does portray a toxic relationship in some ways, I don't think it deserved the hate it got. I felt like people just hated on it because it was for girls. It was for women and teenage girls to enjoy. And people like to just pick on shit that teenage girls enjoy. Like One Direction. Like people shit on them so much. People shit on K-pop a lot. And it's like, it's annoying because it's like everything that's marketed towards women/girls does get made fun of. And I don't think that it should have been given the amount of hate it was given. And I also have to give it to Stephanie Meyers, the fact that she's still able to write and publish. Like she published Midnight Sun,
and it still did well. So that, I mean, that tells you something too.
I don't think I would have been able to write anything if I got the amount of hate that she got.
I feel like too is because it got so much hate, it was almost embarrassing to admit that you liked it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I really do remember as a teenager, Twilight was a personality trait for me almost. It was like what Harry Potter is to me now. It was so much part of my identity. When you were a reader, Twilight was almost like, I guess, required reading amongst the reading community. It wasn't required, but you know what I mean. Like everybody had read it, so you feel like you need to read it too, kind of thing. And then it was just getting shat on the whole time, and I was just like, well, I liked this book. I could realize how much my reading styles have matured, but Twilight at the foundation is a part of my reading journey and will always be a part of my reading journey. And I will always be like, yeah, I remember when Twilight came out. I remember when it was this huge success. I remember when the movies came out. It's the same with Harry Potter. I remember when I first got my first Harry Potter book. Like I could still tell you to this day the story of the day I picked up Twilight. That's how much of an impact this book had on my life. I mean, I know I'm saying now like, it's a little cringy and all the red flags and stuff. It's still gonna be a part of me forever, and that is what it is, and I accept it. It's what makes me me. I mean, we all went through the vampire obsession. This came out at the height of vampire obsession books because there were so many vampire books at that point.
Was there?
Yeah, there like vampires were like the cool thing at that point, because that was the same time like Vampire Diaries came out and everybody was rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Vampire Academy came out that same time. It was like vampires were like the it monster at that point. So it made sense why this book did so well.
Yeah, and it is a love story, and people love stories. Do you like the book more, or do you like the movie more?
I like the book more.
I like the movie.
Really?
The movie is a classic. I love the movie.
I mean, I love the movie, but the book has a lot more to it, but the books always have a lot more to it. So I prefer the book I've always preferred the book over the movie for everything.
Really? I love the movie, mostly because I watch it with my niece. She loves Twilight now, so I watch it with her all the time. Fun fact, the reason why it has like a blue tint to everything is because they were trying to make this movie into like an indie movie, which is interesting to think about. And they're like, yeah, this is not going to be like a big, huge movie. And then it just like blew up.
They underestimated the power of teenage girls.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any other thing you want to bring up, Sam, or talk about?
No, I think they got it all off my chest. I'm glad we did this, though. It's always fun to like revisit the books that we read when we were younger.
Yeah, I'm glad we did too, because I definitely think that giving these books a second chance is a really fun way of kind of going back in the past. And like I said, I really did enjoy it. Like I rated it 3 stars, 2.5 stars, 3 stars, because like, you know, I did enjoy the story for what it was. Do I think that it's like a great work of literature? Probably not.
No, but it doesn't need to be to enjoy it. I think people like feel like sometimes with reading that we have to read the next major classic. It's okay to read what you want to read because you simply enjoy it. And if it's a guilty pleasure, enjoy it. Like reading's not supposed to be homework. It's supposed to be enjoyment. It's supposed to be an escape. So if you like reading something, even if the rest of the world is giving it grief, just enjoy what you're reading. I think that's why reading gets such a bad rap, because people feel like, oh, well, reading has to be this high level of intelligence and sophistication. It's like, no, I like to read my spicy books, or I like to read my fantasy books that put me into a whole world, and whether that world was well developed or not. If I enjoyed the book at the end of the day, it did what it was supposed to do. It's a form of entertainment. That's why I love to read, because it's just entertainment to me.
Exactly. And also, like, I think Twilight is awesome. And I think it's definitely going to be a part of our lives, whether we want it or not. And I'm definitely going to make my future children read the books. I'm going to be like, you have to read this book. You're not allowed to leave the house.
This is required reading. Harry Potter, Twilight, what's the other ones? Yours is Percy Jackson.
Yep.
Ooh, we should reread one of the Percy Jackson books.
Oh my God. I just reread the whole series.
I've never read it before.
Same. I love it so much. It's like, it reminds me so much of my childhood. One last thing I do want to ask you. One, if you could be a vampire or a werewolf, which one would you choose?
Oh, vampire. First of all, I hate being in the sun to begin with. I am very much a night person. And two, like, my skin would be flawless, so...
Would you be okay with watching your loved ones die?
I'll just turn them into vampires, too. We'll be one big vampire family.
I love how you're like, I'll be a vampire because I want to like live forever. My process is I'm going to be a vampire so that way I don't have to sleep and I can read more books.
Oh, I also said stay out of the sun, too. I hate the sun.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I'm a night owl.
So I tried sitting outside yesterday. I sat outside for 10 minutes. I was like, no, this is too much for me. And I walked back inside.
Oh, God.
Also, another question I have for you is, did you think that it was weird how the Collins pretended that they were siblings? In reality, they were all like dating?
You know, the first time I read this book didn't really bother me. This time I'm like, I just want to know what the meetings were like when they were like, how are we going to represent ourselves to the world? I know we're all going to be siblings who secretly date each other behind the scenes.
But they knew they were dating because Jessica was like, oh yeah, like they're adopted, but
oh, yeah,
those
that's
two
true.
people are together. They're together. If I went to a new school and they're like, yeah, this is like this family and they're all adopted, but they're dating, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. That's a little bit, that's a little bit weird.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
I think I asked you this before, but what was your favorite character in the book?
I didn't really have a favorite character. Jessica annoyed the crap out of me. Mike annoyed the crap out of me. Oh, okay, I need to get on this soapbox and let me get on this soapbox.
Get on the soapbox, Sam.
So Bella having every guy obsessed with her. Every guy was, I'm sorry, like I know I'm putting this at the end of the podcast and we're like way over time, but every guy was obsessed with her. And then Edward, like, he said, oh yeah, all the guys are obsessed with you, because she was like, oh, I'm not like other girls, blah, 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 blah. And then friggin' Mike asked her out, and the other guys Eric asked her out, and Tyler asked her out, and then Edward's like, you should have seen what they were thinking, and I'm just like, I don't know, the sheer like, every single guy is obsessed with me, but I only want the one. I'm just like, oh God, stop, please.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because it's like the whole concept of her being a new student.
And then all the girls are just like side-eyed, like, yeah, all the guys like her.
All I remember is that I loved Alice.
I love Alice too. Alice is great.
So, fun fact, I grew up Catholic and I had to go to Sunday school and you have to do your confirmation. I'm not really religious anymore, so I don't really remember what that means. But like you have to choose a biblical name and I chose Alice.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Because of Twilight. And I had to lie and be like, yeah, it's because of this Bible story that I really love. But in reality, it's because of Twilight.
You lied. You lied in the eyes of God for the sake of your vampire book.
I'm probably going to hell anyway, so I mean, what does it matter? But yeah, so thank you guys so much for going down memory lane with us. We love this book. But if you do want to check out our other content we have out there, we do have a TikTok called Just One More Page Podcast, a Instagram called Just One More Page Official, and a YouTube channel called Just One More Page.
So if you're listening on Spotify, please make sure you give us 5 stars, because when you rate us, we get pushed further up the list of podcasts and more people will find us and listen to us. If you're listening to us on Apple, go ahead and give us 5 stars as well. But if you follow us, you'll actually get a notification of every time we post a new podcast, which is every single Sunday. I don't think we've missed a Sunday yet, and we are keeping on going strong. And then if you're also listening to us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't do anything for you, but it does all the things for us. But you also get noticed when we post new podcasts as well, and those go up every Sunday too. Thank y'all for listening to us. We love you all and appreciate everybody. And I hope you all have a wonderful, fantastic Sunday.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.